Hey everybody, it's Irazar here in the flesh this time. I wanted to do slightly different style video this time around. I am playing a new game, probably have heard of it, it being New World, Amazon's MMORPG. I wanted to really give kind of my feelings about the game so far. All of the playing that I recorded for this video is all within the first, I think, 3 or 4 days of me playing the game. Obviously it's been out for over a week now, about a week and a half. I'm recording this on the 9th. I know how to read a calendar. This is kind of just my opinion so far, so some of the video is very early on, and what I'm talking about now is a little bit more experience playing the game. Overall, MMORPGs are my favorite game style, so I'm going to automatically love any of them that are done well. I think overall I actually do really like this game, but I want to go into some of its different components, what I think it does well, my kind of opinions on it overall, if there's anything that I think maybe isn't as well. Disclaimer, not gonna be doing a lot of, end game content. I don't even know if I will ever PvP in this game. PvP is not really my thing. When I do, I'm very much always a support role. I like the healer classes, the crowd control, that sort of thing. So, I'm not necessarily the person that a game like this is completely designed towards. However, I am someone who loves skill, grinding, and all of those things. I have a lot of hours into RuneScape, for example, back in the day. I could be who this was designed for, but there's a good chance that I'm not. So the first thing I want to talk about in the game is the quests that are either town quests or the faction quests. So of course the game has 3 factions. So the faction quests are designed to get points that you can kind of level up through your faction in rank, and then have access to different equipment, armor and weapons and what have you, and also the a couple different items for quality of life upgrades. The faction quests are definitely really useful, and they also give a lot of experience, so they're pretty great. What I really like doing are the town quests. So each town has a town board with a lot of different quests that you can go out and do, gathering items, hunting different creatures, clearing out certain areas, crafting certain things. And because of what I've chosen to specialize in, a lot of these are quite doable for me, which really helps. And I have found that they have really helped with experience. Some of them give crazy experience, both in the crafting of the item and then in the turning it in. They also give you reputation within the town. And I think this is a really cool system, because the reputation in the town does a lot, actually, because as you level it up, you get to get better perks in that town, and that's really helpful. It all kind of rolls together, which I think is really neat about the game, right? Is that every action that you do can assist your actions in other areas of the game, which I think is cool. So the next thing I want to talk about is the gathering and the crafting piece of the game, so some of the more skills-based elements. So I thought I would show where I'm at in all of the skills so far, so you get an understanding of what I've been focusing on. So gathering in the game is, I find, difficult in a good way. There's areas that you can really just grind. For example, when I was leveling up my harvesting, probably levels 1 to 92, I did just as I was playing the game, not really focusing that much on it. But then I decided I wanted 100. I was I'm gonna get it. I picked a night, was I'm getting level 100. And so there was an area that I could literally run in a circle and get to 100 quite quickly. So there's some areas that you can do that, and you can really just commit the time and hammer out a level. And then there's also the fact that you can level up a lot of the gathering skills just kind of as you're playing the game, which is cool if you take the extra time to kind of step aside, gather, and then continue on your way. The crafting element of the game I really like. Obviously, I've been focusing on cooking. Of all the crafting ones, that's the one I'm focusing on the most. It goes really well with the harvesting and the fishing that I've been specializing in, and I really like it. I do think that the way it's not as much fun discovering the recipes, because you have to discover the recipes elsewhere in the game and then bring them back and then look at them. I do like, for example, Guild Wars 2 way of you combine ingredients right there, and that discovers recipes. I think that's more fun. It's more interactive, but at the end of the day, is that what we're doing it for? I'm really excited, realizing that the combination of fishing and cooking can make pretty huge impacts late game, some of the late game food. So I'm really excited about that because I like being able to do things that benefit my team. I'm a team player. No, but things that benefit my company, which is the word that they use for guild. I'm used to saying guild, but because again, I like that kind of support, healing, crowd control kind of a role. So the making the food that makes other people really powerful works really well for me. The economy in the game, it's honestly too early to really talk about the economy in the game. We don't really know what's going to be worth anything. I know I was all excited, being like, oh man, I'm leveling up my cooking and these travel rations are worth like a couple gold each and I'm making 700 of them. So like, let's go, right? And then by now they're like 0.2 gold. if not 0.05, I think, even in some towns. What I do think is neat though is like the fact that each town has its own trading post and they're all going to have different prices because everything's supply and demand. So in certain areas where it's harder to get certain items, or where it's harder to craft certain items because of the way that the overall town upgrade system works, items are going to be more expensive in some areas. So if you're like me and you're somebody who is not trying to get to level 60 by next weekend, and you really enjoy like taking the time and like min-maxing in a very specific way, I'm not like a combat min-maxer at all, but I do love to min-max skills and money. So for me to craft a bunch of things, load myself up, like use the free teleporting, so either the inn or your house. So I have like my house in the area that I craft everything because it's the crafting cost is low, and then I have my inn in an area that things tend to sell really high. So I will craft a bunch of stuff, load my inventory up, go to the inn, list everything on that trading post for higher than it would have been in the one that I have my house, and then I can go back to the house for free. So that's really cool, and it's neat that you can like cheese it that way, but I think it's not really cheesing it because that's literally what it's for. So combat. I am not the person to talk to about combat. It's not the area I will ever be good at. It's not really my area of expertise. So, as I said, I like to focus on healing. It's the area of any MMORPG or really any game that I like to spend the most time doing. When I used to play threes in WoW, not hyper competitively, I'm not saying anything here, but when I used to play threes with some of my friends, I always took healer. And anytime I'm doing anything in a group, anything that's PvP or dungeon or anything, like I much prefer to heal. Obviously, ranged DPS is always going to be the easy. Okay, someone's going to come at me. I find ranged DPS the easiest when you're doing like dungeons and stuff because you don't have to think, you just have to kill things and not stand in fire. And I learned that. But I definitely prefer to heal. If it's easy enough for me to do and if I can figure it out, that's the role that I'd rather take. I really like it in New World. However, leveling up healing in New World is so hard for someone who's not that great. I'm not great at video games. I'm not great at mechanics. I'm not great at making my brain and my hand communicate. I know what it is that I'm supposed to make my character do, but getting my hands to tell my mouse to do it is a challenge for me. It's just not the way that I'm programmed. So leveling up the life staff has been really, really difficult. I've had to basically overlevel myself by 5 levels before I go into an area so that I don't just get screwed. So yeah, like with that life staff mastery, I've just recently pulled up the spear and started using it because I kind of balanced. I was like, I don't want to use experience that could be going into the life staff mastery and putting it in spear mastery, but then I wasn't getting any experience because I couldn't do the town quests or the portals or anything of that in my actual level because I couldn't survive the ads in that level area, pardon me. So I wound up realizing that it made more sense to be able to actually kill things, and then especially because I'd already been over 10, focus on the life staff where I can, hit things out of far and then switch into the spear. So I'll hit something with the life staff, drop sacred ground, flip to the spear, and kill it while standing in the healing circle. It's annoying to have to do all that, but I'm trying to keep my armor light because I like doing the more damage. So that's what I've had to do to kind of make the life staff work for me, and that's okay because there's nothing wrong with a mechanic. Sorry, I just shook everything there because I was scratching my foot with my other foot and it's like making everything crazy. Yeah, so I don't mind that I need to have a mechanic to play the game. It's just frustrating. It just makes it harder, but that's not a bad thing. I don't think it should be easier. One of the things I like about this game is that I find it difficult, and like, I should find games difficult. Like, my level of skill, I should find games difficult. If I find it easy, no one's going to enjoy it. I should find an MMORPG, I should find the combat difficult. And if I don't, then it's way too easy. I do think that the combat is really quite good. There's little things that are really hard to figure out. I couldn't figure out why I was casting heal on myself instead of on my party member, and I eventually figured it out. So some of the kind of like keys, or like key bindings, or the way that that mechanic works isn't obvious to me, but I figured it out and then it's fine. So not a big deal. Bug-wise, the main bug has just been crashing, and the only reason that crashing sucks as badly as it does is because of the queue time.
Whatever. Okay, we leave the expedition, boys. We did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. Barkamees!
Did we get enough bones, though?
Huh?
Did we get enough bones?
I got enough bones for him. Did you grab all your bones?
Yeah, archaeologist. I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, I picked them all up.
Oh, my game is crashed.
Well, at least we finished the expedition.
Fuck! Because in all honesty, the game crashing and having to load back into it is not like a huge deal otherwise. I haven't had any issues where a game has crashed and I've come back and it didn't, like, there was a save issue and I lost any time or any items or any skill, anything like that I've noticed. Anyway, I'm not the most observant. So it's really just that crashing for the first week or two when queues were a huge issue really sucked. But overall, haven't seen a whole lot of bugs. I'm sure that other people have found bugs. Power to them. So, the queuing. As of today, I don't find it to be a problem anymore, but I did put it in because I had filmed about it because of all the recording that I had done for the game was in the first couple of days. So because of that, queuing was a huge issue. In my opinion, there should have been server transfer sooner. I think it would have solved the first week issues, but in retrospect, it's not really an issue anymore, so maybe they knew what they were doing. I don't know. I did find even like last night, which was a Friday night, I didn't have a queue to get in. But overall, it wasn't ideal. If it was still an issue now, I would have a lot more to say about it, but that happening in the first week, I can understand. So my overall opinion of the game is it's a lot of fun. It seems, for how new it is, I mean, it did run the 2 beta phases, and I know that that really helped. Because there are still some things to iron out, but overall it's fairly, I'm not going to use the word polished, but it's pretty good for the stage it's in its development. I find the game really fun. I really like the way that the skilling works. I like a game with some grind. I'm not gonna lie, I'm about it. So for me, being able to do that in a game and it not just being like power level your character to the max level and then do end game over and over and over and over and over again, not really my thing. Being able to focus on getting those skills. As noted, I am focusing on fishing, which is, a lot of people really don't like leveling fishing, whereas I really, really enjoy it. I love the mechanic in the fishing. I think it's really good. I find the way that you get the different fish and the way the fishing hotspots work really fun. And it works for me, and I can just kind of like plug a movie on and run back and forth between 2 hotspots all night quite happily, but I'm a bit weird. My overall opinion, 2 thumbs up. Even one, oh, there we go, 2 thumbs up, I guess. Don't have a lot negative to say. Certain things could have been handled better in terms of the way the servers were run, but whatever. So yeah, if you are thinking about picking it up, do. In my humble opinion. I don't know for how long it's going to have this many people playing it. I know that that can become a problem in MMORPGs where you join a game and everyone's playing it and it's great and the wars have lots of people and there's lots of stuff going on and then half the player base drops off in 3 weeks and you're like, why did I buy this game? As of right now, you don't have to pay for the time, so if you can afford the outright purchase of the game, I think it's worth it. It really depends obviously on what your financial situation is right now. I've been in periods of time where a $50 game would not... That was what I paid for it in Canadian dollars. Would not have been in the cards. If you want to know, the server that I'm in right now is Valgrind, and we are Syndicate, obviously. I'm sure you can see that from the videos. If you wanted to know what server I'm in, that's the one. I don't know if we're going to stay in that server once the transfers open up. There are a lot of streamers in the server, which was causing an issue with the queue, but if it hasn't really been an issue since, we'll probably just stay where we are. So if you are in Valgrind, let me know. Would love to see anybody in game. That'd be kind of cool. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me for this video. Let me know if you like this kind of style of video where I just like talk about a game and talk over some video of me playing it. I'm also happy just to upload playing the game. Maybe not the ones where I spend 3 hours running back and forth from fishing hotspots. Not sure how exciting that would be. So yeah, let me know if you'd like me to do this kind of style with games. I don't know that I play them often enough for this to be super reoccurring, but when I pick up a new game, it is something that I could do. Otherwise, let me know if you'd like to see just some gameplay of New World. I forgot the name of the game. It's not ideal. Overall, thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe if you'd like to, notification bell, you know what that is. Join me on my Discord. It's not particularly happening in place, but it might be one day. I hope everybody has a great time playing the game or not playing the game if they're not into it. And we will see everybody in my next video. Bye!